It recognizes our belief in God, our country, not just individuals, our country, our founding fathers codified this in the documents that founded this country. Our reliance, our belief in God, and our reliance upon God. Of that, there's just no debate on that. You may like it, may not like it. Declaration of Independence, we find these truths to be self-evident, that we are endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights, of which are life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. It goes on in the Constitution to say we are putting together this Constitution in a preamble to secure the blessings, not only for ourselves, for posterity. And that Constitution followed with a Bill of Rights that enumerated those godly rights given to man, including the very first one, which was a right to believe in God and to express that belief anytime, anywhere, including the public square.
33 million. It's proven to the money investors that people want something to feed their souls, not just their worst desires.
Absolutely.
And
yes, indeed.
This kind of sums up my entire dialogue career on the heat of the night. You ready for this? Okay, this is it. My 7 years on the heat of the night. My dialogue all summarized in this. Get right on it, Chief.
Captain Skinner, but Bubba's my name. I like my iced tea sweet and my women the same. I'm your brown-haired badge here in little old Sparta, but nobody's bigger or tougher or smarter. If you're looking to fight, best not be with me. Gonna be held tight, well now we'll just see. You never know in the heat of the night on TNT.
Heat of the night on TNT.
Now I don't put on any airs, but then I ain't no slob. Just a redneck boy with a blue-collar job. The ladies I date, they gonna have 'em some fun, 'cause I'm a big hunk of crime fighting son of a gun. So if you're looking to fight, come on up in the ring. You wanna be held tight, just about anything can happen in the heat of the night on TNT.
Hubba, 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 hubba. Heat of the night on TNT.
Yeah.
It recognizes our belief in
to the mayor's office. And now, behind the mic at KXEX, this is the Alan Autry Show. No retreat.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
What the hell's going on out here? Everybody grabbing out there. Nobody. That the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.
So, 5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable. We are live. We are
You're listening to the Alan Autry Show on the best talk in town. Talk Radio 1550 KFTX.
And welcome to Alan Autry, No Retreat, Free for All Friday with my good buddy Robert Bullet Bob Leoni.
Hey, Hoss.
Why am I suddenly sounding like an AM DJ
I
back
don't
in
know,
the
but
60s?
he's going to play the hits anytime now.
Bringing it on and getting it on from 12 to 1 p.m.
Stacks and stacks of hot wax, baby.
Here's the Doors.
People are strange when you're uneven.
No stranger.
We're trying to figure some technology out here to get this thing
and
live.
believe me, folks.
And that's yesterday's show. So let's turn off this thing. Radio fans,
Hey,
hang
Jeremy,
in
this
there.
shit's not working in here.
Yeah, not worry. All right. Well, we tried our best because what I was going to try to do is
Yeah.
get your comments streaming live. And I don't know if we're on live in there, but send some comments. Let me know if you're getting it. Jeremy's trying to get it over here to get me on here. He's running. Yeah, come on. And he's got a he's got a Let's Go Brandon shirt on.
Now, Haas and I are two old guys
If I come in here,
trying to learn technology, and it was sad, but it was awful funny trying to see.
I was just mashing buttons, man.
He's just pushing everybody.
I was just mashing buttons, looking at my fingers and pushing stuff.
Oh,
man.
my word.
That's you in big trouble.
You know, anytime I feel bad, Haas, all I have to do is see you in front of a computer. And it makes my day.
Hey, I resemble that remark. Hey.
I'm just as bad. Don't get me wrong. But
No, you're not.
It was funny.
No, you're not. I set a whole new
my
standard on stupidity when it comes down to technology. Jeremy's got that "Let's Go Brandon" T-shirt.
See?
They had a
pushed a few buttons.
but they had a Let's Go Autry shirt on the other day. So I'd be worried. Are they trying to be? All right, here we got the laptop. Hey, it's working. So we'll be able to get some.
We're almost
comments in here.
Well, there looks like there's a little delay on that, though.
All right. All right. Let's start this. Get this ball rolling.
Okay.
5 things you want to get off your chest. Let's
Okay.
open up with that. While I work here on the computer.
Okay. The baseball pitch clock. Yay or nay, Haas?
I'd like it, but I don't want baseball to keep messing with the game.
Exactly.
Because you know what? They're starting to talk about having mechanized robotic umpire.
Robo-umps.
Yes.
Yeah.
How do you kick dirt on a robot? They're not going to care. How do they know when to kick a manager out?
If you insult them, they don't care.
If you, what did you say about Megabyte? What did you say? I was a dog-faced soldier pony of a robot. You're out of here.
Don't get me started laughing now.
Well, no,
I won't be able to talk.
I don't think I think people want to see the human element, especially in the umpire. The umpire is an indispensable, the human, flesh and blood, cut when he or she bleeds umpire.
Yeah.
Not some, right?
I think so.
And I'm afraid that's where they're going there.
Well, some of the rules they have now are really, it's not like baseball anymore. Not like when we were coming up.
Yeah.
A whole different game.
And exactly. But kill the umpire kill the machine. Dismantle the machine. The game was rigged.
Pull the plug.
Dominion provided those umpires. We're going to be the whole season under protest. 162 games. Well, you won the championship, but there's an asterisk by it because of those robotic umpires. But I tell you, we laugh about it, but that's where they're heading.
We need to also have a show down the road about the influence of
my wife,
the Middle East, the Middle East on sports, professional sports in the United States.
I was thinking about
China.
No, I'm already talking about Qatar coming in and wanting to buy a piece of all the Washington-based teams.
Well,
I wonder why. No political angle there. Nothing to be worried about. They're not going there wanting to buy a piece of the Memphis Grizzlies.
No.
Because they run them out of town, man. But yes,
that's a whole show there.
Saudi Arabia,
Live golf, the whole thing. The whole thing.
And you know what?
Getting into pro sports.
And it's the rest of the world, filthy rich countries doing, the truth will set you free, but first it'll make you miserable. Doing what America's done after World War II. We just paid off whatever we want. You go and flash a bunch of American dollars and you get what you want in this country. And that's the danger you got. I'm believing capitalism 100%. It's the most imperfect system, not the most imperfect system. It's the best system of all the systems which are imperfect. Communism has been tried 25 times in our history. They're never succeeded at all. And so I'm for a free market capital system, but you got to be careful of that greed factor and the human nature
to exploit people and making more and more and more profit, where you say, how much money do you need? Well, China, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, all of these countries are basically buying influence, buying just like America did. So maybe there's a lesson in there for this country somewhere.
Yeah.
But anyway, what's your second thing there?
Number 2, Adam Schiff.
What's that?
Adam Schiff with an F.
I was going to say.
A disingenuous pinhead is about the nicest thing I can say about that.
Whatever
pencil
happened?
neck geek, as they used to say years ago.
Well, whatever happened to? Because I don't know Adam Schiff. I'm not gonna.
I don't either.
But you can only make your determinations about individuals if you haven't met them on what they say and what they do. And I have to agree with you. He's in the knucklehead category.
I think he's right up there, close to the top.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other folks battling for that position. But
he graduated from knothead to knucklehead. In my way of doing things, knothead means
that's right.
A little better. There's a little hope for you. You transfer over to knucklehead. It's almost a point of no return.
You're done.
Because I'd like to say, with all due respect, Senator Knucklehead, where is the irrefutable proof you had that President Trump was involved with Russian collusion? Because you said you had evidence. You had evidence we could either lay eyes on via email, whatever, or evidence we could hear, audio recordings, whatever. You said you had the proof. Where is it? It isn't materialized.
There is none.
Yeah. Anyway.
So
I agree. He's Mr. Knucklehead, bless his heart. We just wish him, a recovery from wherever he went into La La Land.
Wherever he's going.
Well, these people, they lie with. It's not only something that they're not ashamed of, lying and misleading and being duplicitous and hypocritical, all those things. They feel good when they're able to make it work for them to further their agenda. It's not, again, back we were raised that if you didn't tell the truth, if you were they used to call them damn liars, there was a price to pay within your family. You just didn't lie. There was a price to pay. You certainly, your school system, teachers wouldn't lie to you. They lied. Lying is a big thing. And both parties kind of monitored their own. They policed their own. And, it was the Republicans that said Nixon had to go. The Democrats really didn't have enough votes when he just looked right in the camera and said, your president's no crook. I didn't know anything about Watergate. Yada, yada. Well, we found out through the tapes he was lying. Republicans said, you got to go. Why? Because you lied. And you look at, how far we've gone downhill to Bill Clinton saying, I didn't with that woman, look right in the camera. And then not only did he not and lied on other issues, and I'm just picking on him, they seem like they all lied now. Republican, Democrat, and it's just part of just something in the toolbox.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, and now he's, because he's such a prolific liar, he's going to run for Senate, apparently, in California. Although he did get censured, which means, don't do that again.
Yeah, well, he's already saying he's wearing that like a badge of honor.
Yeah,
he had a Republican House.
They're against me.
Censure here. A censure. Yeah, what is
that? Next is...
Don't do that again. You're a liar.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. Lose some sleep over that.
Next is San Francisco, the once glorious Baghdad by the Bay that Herb Caen referred to many years as a San Francisco Chronicle writer. It is now dead by the bay. The biggest piece of garbage on the West Coast, next to L.A.
Walgreens singing, I left my drugstore in San Francisco.
And all of the major corporations, offices and building establishments are pulling out of downtown San Francisco because it's so bad with the homeless and the muggings and the killings and the knifings and the drug use and the step on stuff on the street. And it's just not a good situation.
A lot of people on the left would say, that's just a bunch of bull. That's just, you're a conservative guy. Leoni, you don't like liberals, and we're doing just fine in San Francisco. It's not that bad, those crime statistics. It's fake news. It's made up by these Trumpsters that people just say. But, there's some real fire where there's that smoke when you have a Mayor, London Breed, who's about as far left as you can go, saying, my city's unsafe.
Need more cops.
And we're going to start arresting people that homeless who've become so violent.
Yeah. To anybody.
To anybody. Because many of these stores have left when they're pushed to the, to share the reasons why. The number one thing is not just the shoplifting, which is bad enough, but the safety of their employees. They're very fearful of locations there. The Tenderloin district's always been kind of rough, but not like this. So the Tenderloin's just gone. You walk down the streets of Tenderloin anytime during the day, from what I understand. I ain't going there.
Yeah. But now, Hoss, it's the established financial areas.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's kind of rippled out.
It's gone out
from the Tenderloin to all of these other areas of the city. What a beautiful city.
Great.
Gosh, it just
used to go there all the time.
Let me ask you this before you go to number 3. There's been what should have been wake-up calls with the crime statistics and all of these businesses moving. Years and years and years ago, we knew the trajectory of this stuff. The liberal city councils and mayors, it was like, hey, be kind to criminals era, and put the rights and the protection of private citizens way back on the back burner. Ever these poor criminals had a tough life going up, many of them did. So they have a right to go out and just wantonly and brazenly kill people and rob stores, because that's society's role, to let these poor, forlorn people that have had the tough life. Well, there's a lot of people that had tough lives. A lot of them were abused by parents, beaten, had tough lives, that don't go out and shoot people and rob people. It's actually a small portion. Although we all lament and feel bad for somebody who's raised in difficult, horrible circumstances. But the fact of the matter is, it takes a special, different kind of brain to pull a trigger, to go in and steal, to push a knife in somebody, to push somebody onto a subway, in front of a subway car. And it's proven. Giuliani proved it in New York. When you come in and you focus on those criminals that are doing that and put them in jail and make no apologies about it, you see crime plummet. They could start making a difference in San Francisco within several months. That city could be one of the safest cities in America. Really. And that's the real tragedy.
Well,
exactly. The fix is there.
They've let it go to the point where, exactly. That's the biggest problem.
My point.
Defund the police. And now she's saying that now the mayor of San Francisco, folks, is coming back saying, well, we need more police. Crime's out of control in my city. And I don't want to be responsible for being the mayor that let the whole thing go down the tubes.
Yeah. And the problem is, even if you get more police, Bobby, if the system won't make them,
you have to,
do the time that fits the crime, what good is it?
You have
back in the early days, it was, people remembered that were my age and our age here in Fresno, around the country, really. That the conditions in the early 90s is what gave birth to this crime bill that the liberals are pushing back on, and even conservatives are pushing back on, that say, hey, went too far. Well, things were so out of control. That's when 3 strikes you're out came in to being, and all these tough on crime measures in the city, is that there was no other way to deal with it. And finally, common sense had to prevail.
Yeah.
And we're there now. It's just, when are you going to do the inevitable and start coming down tough on crime? And you have to put them away. You have to reform the judicial sentencing laws. Don't give these judges that are well-meaning, but you give them so much discretion. You let this guy out that killed this young officer in Selma, Carrasco. Officer Carrasco left. His wife just gave birth to their little boy. He never even got to see his boy.
He was only 23 years old.
23 years old. And killed by a guy, by any standard, should not be out on the streets. Yet the system let him go.
And he was out for, 3 days before he killed this officer?
Something like that.
Yeah, it was.
So,
right. I mean,
you got a lot more. Like I see the Fresno City budget today, touting they're going to get up to 900 officers.
Woo-hoo.
Well, so what? Now what? So you get 900 officers. Yeah, but you're going to arrest them and put them in a system. Lisa Smitkamp is the only one out there going, hey, we got to change AB 109. We got to Proposition 47, this revolving door, this liberal state parole board that's letting these people out on a defenseless public. You're going to let all these criminals out, violent criminals, and then make it harder and harder to get a gun to protect yourself while you defund the police.
Cat chasing his tail.
Yeah. All right, number 4.
Number 4, well, the guy that's
Autry.
been in the news a whole lot lately.
Mm.
The biggest doper around, Hunter Biden. What a bonehead.
Before the show, you were talking about me
what?
running subjects into the ground. You want to see me run a subject into the ground?
What?
You really want me to unleash on Free for All Friday on that?
Well,
I won't even say anything today about that.
Hey, I just picked these at random. I don't know what you're talking about.
It's on your chest too. You want to get off?
It is millions of dollars.
The left has a thing they call now whataboutism. That the right, conservatives, I just call it free-thinking people that are not under the thumbs of any political party. People that make up their own minds about things. That when something is done egregiously bad by someone on the left, that they make the claim, well, Republicans and conservatives. Well, what about Trump's email is Trump's top secret documents? Well, what about Hillary Clinton's dumbbell? So they just kind of brush that off. But the whataboutisms, thank goodness for whataboutism. People better start paying attention to it, because you got guys. Okay, that's Hunter Biden on his forum for the gun. There's a rapper. I think his last name is Black. So he's I don't even know if he is black or not.
I don't know.
But exactly the same crime that Hunter Biden looks like is going to be charged with and dismissed from, and do no time at all. That little slap on the wrist. This guy got 3 years. And you got to say, well, what about rapper Black? They got 3 years. And you look at West, not reporting over $1 million on your income tax. And you look at where Wesley Snipes, the same thing. They send Wesley Snipes to prison, but you're not supposed to say, what about Wesley Snipe? Because that's whataboutism, which is like to them the equivalent of fake news. Well, if it's fake news, you should use some whataboutisms to talk about the fake news. But
well, yeah, I guess that.
Am I?
Well, it's tit for tat, right?
Well, if you don't hit, I think the.
Now we're not saying that.
I think the tat has. In that case, I think the tat has more merit than the tit.
I knew I was opening.
I do.
That Pandora's
That's in
box,
the thing
folks.
of tit for tat. Don't accuse me of being profane on the show. See, you led me into.
Well, but we're not saying one bad behavior justifies another bad behavior. All we're saying is that both of those behaviors have to be addressed equally.
Exactly.
And the justice has to be applied equally to both situations.
And
if they're the same. Okay.
And they say, well, no, this mantra seems to be on the left that, hey, nobody's above the law. When they're talking about going after Trump. They want to see him in the cuffs, the mugshot behind bars. They're obsessed with this. Unless that happens, or until that happens, they are not going to stop going after this guy. And
by the way,
but my point is, I'll make quick, and then you get your money. I agree 100%. No one's above the law, but no one, regardless of their political party or beliefs that they have, should be victimized by unequal application of the law. And that's clearly what's happening to Donald Trump. So you can take your whataboutisms and do what you put them someplace where the sun don't shine. Because you know what? There's enough about that whataboutism. You throw that out, this country goes down the toilet. Goes down the toilet. I mean, you when this kind of disparity in the equal application of the law, based solely on politics, and you top it off where it's a political campaign where you have the candidate that you're wanting to put in jail, of which you unleashed the Department of Justice upon.
No, that's the biggest.
Is you're leading. That is stuff that a country finds very difficult to come back from because it so irreparably divides a country. You go down in South America, you see it all over the place, these countries where this kind of thing happened, and the country never seems to be able to heal. Yeah, I'm all for America being able to come through this, and maybe the generations behind us, Bob, the millennials, many of them have drank so much of the woke Kool-Aid, it's kind of tough on them. But from what I hear, a man who I respect deeply believes this Generation Z, the one behind the millennials, there's a lot of millennials too that see that this is wrong. But go ahead.
Well, just as an aside, you were talking about Trump. Did you see you saw the interview he did last week with Brett Baer on TV?
I have not caught that one. I caught the one before. But
okay. Well, and now he's going to do another one with Bill O'Reilly, I think, this weekend. But the thing that struck me about Trump, I mean, he's still the same old Trump espousing everything he's always talked about. But boy, he looks like all of this litigation and everything that's been going on for the last few years really taking its toll. In my opinion, I thought the guy looked terrible on TV the other night. He's still going to, bloviate and do his thing. But I think a lot of this stuff is catching up with him now. I thought he looked bad, but that's just me.
Well, everybody gets
like
tired.
I'm such a picture of. I'm such a picture of health.
Well, I mean, you can imagine. Hey, the guy. People don't think about this as much because they're focused on Biden's age. Trump's almost as old as Biden.
What is he, 77?
He's 77.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, it's a different game when you start pushing 80.
Hey, number 5.
All right, give number 5 and we'll go to break.
A big thing happened yesterday in the world of sports, if anybody cared.
I'm on the edge of my seat. I do.
The NBA draft.
Oh, yeah, Victor Wembanyama.
Does anybody care anymore?
I do.
Do you?
Yeah, he seems like a fine young man. I want to see good young men.
I really don't care about the NBA draft. I really don't care. And I read somewhere somebody was criticizing that they weren't giving it enough airtime.
Yeah.
It was a bad production of the NBA draft.
I used to be a big basketball fan. We used to be
absolutely.
And I thought I was irretrievably lost on the NBA. Goodbye. You're under China's thumb. Get out of here. Because I was equating it with LeBron James and others that are just complete sellouts. No matter how good you sell out. Hard for me to respect you. Love you as a Christian, but don't respect you. But this last series between the Nuggets and the Heat, the last quarter of the game when the Nuggets were up 3-1, the closeout game for them, the Heat were down 3-1. Big mountain to climb to get back into the series. But they played the best 48 minutes of basketball I had ever seen.
Both teams, mean, or just?
They were like college players trying to get a national championship.
Okay.
They were
see it.
They were diving for loose balls, hustling down on defense. And to see actual full-fledged 100% hustle in the NBA was just so rare. And I was on the edge of the seat. Afterwards, I went, great. And then you hear Nikola Jokic. You see somebody humble. And then you see where Kevin Garnett tweeted out, he was Nikola humbleness is blank, 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 F blank, blank, amazing. Never seen humbleness like that. And that used to be the norm in our day. If you drew attention to yourself, or you brag, or you put down the other team, or you smack talk, you talk some stuff after, which they do all the time in the NBA. That was looked down upon.
Well, we could never. We sound like old guys, folks, but we are. When we were coming up, if we did any of that, we'd never even think of doing that stuff because you'd be pulled out of the game. Yeah, you'd be pulled out of the game, and you'd be riding a pine. And Lord only knows when you'd get back in the game.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be that game.
No.
I mean, Nicholson would have pulled you out, and he'd have said, "Sit down, lad.
Well, it goes.
You're
back.
done."
Bear Bryant bitched Joe Namath before the Cotton Bowl. You imagine what the alumni would have done at Alabama to Nick Saban if he would have benched Bryce Young for doing he missed curfew by I think about 30 minutes.
Well, how about
so he benches because he said rules apply to everyone, even you, Joe. And you're going to sit. And when they talked, I saw an interview with Joe Namath, and they asked him who was the biggest influence on him in football. Most people thought he was going to say Weeb Ewbank, who was the coach of him of the Jets, because he liked Weeb and Weeb liked him, and they had a great respect for each other.
That good team.
But he said it was Bear Bryant.
Yeah. Well, you know Joe too.
Joe, yeah, no, I know him well, but I know him. And he said that in the interview, asked him why. He says, "Well, Weeb taught me a lot of football. He taught me how to be a better football player. Bear Bryant did that too, but he taught me how to be a man." How to be responsible, how to think beyond being a football player, that not to get too full of myself, put the team ahead of me. And he says, I needed that. I don't think I could have been the pro that I was without.
Well, if you listen to Joe now, he's a really humble guy.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah.
I saw an interview he did a couple of years
I
ago,
love Joe Namath.
and he is a really humble. And folks, if you didn't know how good this guy, and I see that's the thing. I should have written that down. That's the other thing that drives me crazy. People always try to compare eras and decades of different sports teams, and you say, "Well, what was the best?" I'm telling you, folks, this guy was one great football player.
Back when you could hit the quarterback.
And his knees took the beating for it too. In fact, he invented, well, he didn't invent it, but the Lenox Hill brace, which was developed at Lenox Hill Hospital in New York, was developed for Joe Namath because he got hit so badly and his knees were so bad after a while. I mean, he was having trouble doing the 7-step drop back, and he ended up doing like a 5-step drop so he could get rid of the ball.
Yeah.
Because they were beating this guy up. This guy was one great quarterback, and I know I'm dating myself, but he could fling the pill down the field.
Yeah, Brady played how many seasons?
72.
He played 20 at least, didn't he?
Oh yeah, guy's 45 years old.
I'm not putting down Tom Brady. I think he was an excellent quarterback.
Yeah.
Could be the GOAT.
Could be. Yeah.
But here's my question to you: how many seasons playing under the rules that Joe Namath played, when you could hit the quarterback, you had 2.5 steps. You could hit the quarterback anywhere, in the knees, under the chin, pick up the quarterback and sling them to the ground without a penalty. How many years do you think he would play?
Oh, well,
8, 9,
it
10
certainly
maybe?
wouldn't have been what he did.
Yeah,
he would have been out probably, I'd say 8 years, 9 years, and it goes the same for all the rest of the players too. I mean, when we were,
but Brady couldn't move. He was just like a sitting.
Yeah, he's pretty immobile.
I think his career is way shorter.
And Joe was real mobile before his knees went. He was a good. That guy could move.
Well, we're going to take a break. People sitting there, Joe who? Joe Willie, or as Howard Cosell would say it, Joe Willie Namath. All right, we're going to be right back. This is Free For All Friday with Bullet Bob Leoni. Guillermo, if you're listening, we miss you and we love you. And Mama Marina, we miss you too. We got to have you on the show. We got to talk about the Republicanism and the what about isms. Every ism out there we need to discuss with you. We'll be right back. Isms. Give me some ism.
Well, I got a
romanticism. Isms.
Did you want to go through some of that?
You got that old Arrowhead water.
Donna's always sends nice notes.
Yes. Well,
Debbie's always on there.
Can you read some of those from LA? I'm gonna go get a water. Read.
Well, I was gonna. That's.
Can you read it from there?
Yeah.
Here, then this.
Let me try it this way. Okay.
Are you serious? Jeremy's got a water. Jeremy's the best.
Good job, Jeremy. That was Jeremy. He does a lot of stuff here that he's grossly underpaid, I think. But
I'm sorry, Arrowhead. You're probably a great company.
What?
Arrowhead, you ever have a bottle of water and you leave the cap off for about 2 days, and then you take a drink and all the lint from the room is in there and you taste it?
That was capped.
I know, but it tastes like that when the kid goes.
I'm just getting ready to take a drink.
I'm sorry, Mom. We're going to get sued.
What are you talking about? Well, let me give you. I already took a drink. I didn't feel like that.
We're going to get sued for defamation. Defamation. Okay.
It tastes fine.
All right, listen.
What are you smoking?
Excuse me. Hell, man.
So how do we get this thing?
Donna Satera says, hello, everyone from Northeast Ohio. Welcome, Bullet Bob.
Thank you, Donna.
Welcome back to you, Donna. You're a loyal listener. Debbie Stickler from Kentucky.
Debbie from the Bluegrass State.
Gene Henderson. Happy, everyone, from Los Angeles. My second home. Spent 8 years. Appreciate all these familiar faces that begin almost from the get-go.
Yeah, they've been around a while.
Malene, I hope that's right. Mylene. Yeah, it's Mylene. Mylene Keating. Malene Keating from Southern Utah. You've been a long-time watcher. Appreciate you. Betty Godlin in Wisconsin, my third home there.
1 minute.
And on time, she says. And then, she's giving you a little attaboy. Donna Satera says, Jeremy can do it.
Yeah.
And Melissa, great to see. Boy, we're getting a good turnout today. Melissa Lee Sneed. And she's been around a part of Autry's Army for a long time. Thanks for taking the time to log in. Barbara Jean from Chicago, loved the Windy City. When I was with Green Bay, I hated the Bears, but I love Chicago. And Debbie Stickler says, Jeremy, take the wheel. Please do. And Donna says, I truly enjoy the laughter of Free For All Friday with Al and Bullet Bottle. We sure enjoy having you, Donna. Appreciate it. We'll get some more of these in just in a moment. Oh, Debbie Stickers says, Bullet Bob, your laughter is contagious.
Oh,
let me see if it is.
10 seconds.
You're right. It is contagious.
Where's your mask?
5 seconds.
Here's your sign.
Yeah.
You're listening to the Alan Autry Show on the best talk in town. Talk Radio 1550 KXEX.
And welcome back to Alan Autry No Retreat. Boy, this thing is Bobby is banking he's now identifying as a Boeing 747 to the tune of Sky Pilot. That was a good little bank there.
You like that?
Yes.
I think I was headed straight for the mountain.
You're heading for the mountaintop. Been to the mountaintop.
Hey,
okay, you got number 5, or have we done?
No,
it?
we did that.
We did all 5. You got 10 or 6?
We went to
7.
We went to the same school. You can't count.
Odd one. Hey, I got some book learning under my belt.
I can cipher.
A little bit. Okay, I texted you this last night because I heard it again last night.
Yeah.
I still don't quite understand it. I got some suspicions that I know a little bit about what it is, and I'm talking about toxic masculinity. What is it?
Jeremy's laughing.
Now, I wish we had a woman here.
Well, I've got the definition.
Maybe the listeners don't.
I got the definition.
Excuse me. You've got the definition. Is that right from Webster's?
Right out of Google.
Or right out of Rashida Tlaib's dictionary.
Well, when I finish this, you tell me.
Okay.
When I was writing this, I thought, Haas and I fit right into this category.
Get out of here. Okay. And where'd you say?
I just Googled it. Yeah. And
so
said,
the AI, the artificial intelligence.
Give me a definition of toxic masculinity. Okay. This is the one I came up. Came up with. A set of attitudes and ways of behaving stereotypically associated with or expected of men.
Mm-hmm. What's toxic about it?
Okay. Well, I'm not done.
Okay.
There's more. Regarded as having, in addition to that, regarded as having a negative impact on men and society as a whole. I don't know what that means.
Read that again.
Let me read the whole thing. So
read the other part.
Just the last part?
Yeah.
Regarded, expected of men, regarded as having a negative impact on men and society as a whole.
Okay.
The destructive messages associated with toxic masculinity can lead to men feeling entitled to engage in violence against women.
Okay, does it?
That last part was added on, not by me, but by the people who wrote the first part.
Is that it?
That's it.
It didn't give you any examples? It's like such as something a man may say.
That would have been
such
nice.
As that would have been. That would be negative.
That would have been nice. So we have a definition, but we can't really. At least I can't really define it.
Who gets to decide what's a negative impact on society and women? If I Kim and I get into conversations all the time, we sometimes gets heated, not over passionate's more of a word. And the worst she's ever said was, she says, you're mansplaining, which threw me as well. And then I found out apparently mansplaining is kissing cousins to toxic masculinity. I asked you, what does mansplaining have to do with saying, I just don't like the 90 Day Fiance episode?
Well, I can't blame you for that.
But most important, the one we really got into was the Orange County Housewives. And I just said, I don't really like it. Because she said, why? She said, I just don't want to sit around watching a bunch of middle-aged drunk women screaming and fighting at each other and calling each other profane names. Oh, that's not all they do. That's all I've seen when I've sat down here and watched it. And would that be toxic masculinity to say I don't agree with it? And it happens, what I don't agree with happens to be a behavior of a individual who happens to have a gender that is female. So if I you got to get some examples.
Well,
now I can understand somebody saying, "Hey, you know what? B word. All the stuff that's in the rap music used to be in there. We're getting less of that, by the way, which I'm glad to see. But there was an era there where it was just like, you talk about toxic. And let me ask you this.
I have some more in here.
You got some more in there? Please get this. Yeah, stop this riff for a second. Give me some more. I'm starting to get a little triggered. I'm starting to go there.
Toxic masculinity is a set of certain male behaviors associated with harm to society and men themselves. Stereotypical aspects of traditional masculinity, such as social dominance, misogyny, and homophobia, can be considered toxic, due in part to their promotion of violence, including sexual assault and domestic violence. Socialization of boys often normalizes violence, such as the saying, "boys will be boys," about bullying and aggression. Self-reliance and emotional...
Boys will be boys is toxic masculinity.
I
guess you could say boys will be girls today and it'd be fine.
Well, you'd have to make sure that they were
girls
girls.
Will be boys would be fine.
You'd have to make sure there were boys and girls. You'd have to identify their gender.
Which is not right, because there is no gender.
Well, the gender that they're claiming today, or who they're claiming to be today.
Man, I'm confused.
Did you read
no,
that?
I don't understand. Well, first of all,
are we toxic? Huh? Are we toxic? I mean, we certainly don't.
So.
We certainly don't advocate any violence or anything against other people or women.
If you disagree with, say, Nikki Haley or Hillary Clinton, and you disagree vehemently with some of their positions, and you state so, are you misogynist? Well, I didn't know the definition of that for a long time. I really misused that early on. Misogynist. I thought it was, you went and you got a 6-hour massage. You were a misogynist. I went about a full year thinking that. I didn't know what. Finally used it wrong. I had to look that sucker up.
Stop.
And I said, whoa, man, I got a lot of bridges to go back and rebuild.
Oh, my word.
I used that thing wrong. Wow.
I was way off.
Way off on that puppy. But literally.
So after all that, do we know what it is yet?
Well, I have a problem with even calling masculinity toxic, to say that kind of being masculine. With thinking you have a personal responsibility to take care of your family, to help, to watch over your wife and kids, that it's your responsibility as a male to lead your family, is that being toxically masculine? Because you're saying that's what a man is supposed to do. And you'll have people go, why you treat me like I'm the weaker sex? I'm not saying, hey, there's an inequality in both genders. A woman most of the time doesn't have the same muscularity as a man, but many times a woman will have attributes that are much more important than muscles, like empathy and being able to critically think things out, and patience that a man doesn't have. That man, by and large, may not have to the same degree as women. That doesn't make them, if they state so, doesn't make them toxically feminine, does it?
I don't know.
I just don't get it. And I'm not trying to do it to create a subject or try to be. I genuinely trying to figure this out.
So if any of you people out there know a better definition than what we've come up with, let us know, because I'm as confused as the next guy. I don't think I've been called a lot of things in my life. A lot of them not very good. But I don't think I've
deserved
ever.
As I
Well, it was a reputation that
I worked hard at.
Didn't come overnight, buddy. I'll tell you that.
Me too.
But I've never been called toxic, and I really don't know what that would mean for me. Just being who I am. I mean, I guess sometimes if you're a heterosexual male and you have an opinion that someone doesn't agree with, say with the LGBT community or whatever, and you have an opinion, is that toxic? Is your opinion toxic?
Apparently so.
Okay, so
but they're tying it to don't show any of the traditional, aspects
traits
that people associate with being a man.
Okay.
Excuse me. I mean, you say like, well, he's a hardworking man. Oh, women aren't. I mean, they got you every time you turn around. You're going, no, I don't. What are you doing opening that door for that woman? You think she can't do it herself? No, I'm just being a man.
Is that where we had the changes of the words?
Oh, toxic. You think you're much stronger than her. That she is so defenseless and so weak that she can't open the door by herself. And I tell you, I do it all the time. I just still do it those ways. And it's still about 60%, maybe 70% of the women and the young ladies will say thank you.
Yep.
But there's a 30% that look at me. I don't know what look it is. They don't look. They just walk right in. As expected, not a thank you or a smile or nothing.
Not a tip.
I don't know.
Not a tip.
No, they don't even tip me.
Well, is this where we started coming up with the different names for? Remember, milkman?
Yeah.
Postman?
It's milk person.
Council person. Congressman?
Yeah.
Congressperson or congresswoman? I don't know. Is that where that's come from? I don't know.
Gender neutral,
I guess.
But I think the whole thing about this, you can't really have a debate. Even let's take the political arena. You see these men that are very cautious when they're debating a woman candidate, not to cross that line or say anything that could be construed as mansplaining, could be construed as being disrespectful of the woman. So you got to make sure you're consciously aware that you're debating a woman. Whereas Margaret Thatcher, she has said, let's go, let's get at it. You weren't going to get Margaret Thatcher to complain anything about that. Now you have these candidates, many of them. Condoleezza Rice wasn't one of them. Elizabeth Dole wasn't one of them. You had that would say, hey, robust debate is robust debate. Bring your best A game, man. And me as a woman's going to stand my ground, and I can take whatever you have to dish out politically in this debate. So don't hold it back. I want your best shot. Come at me. Don't worry. I'm not going to, accuse you of disrespecting me as a woman unless you truly do respect me. And it probably won't be under the grounds that I was a woman. It'll be the grounds that I was a candidate. Mm-hmm. You crossed the line on whatever. And I think the country's really looking for women like that. And not to have the women and the men's have to stop being so scared to go in and that they're going to be accused of this. Me just saying this on this show puts everything I do in jeopardy in terms of whether somebody wants to hire me for a TV show. And here's a guy who loved his mother. I respect women so much. There might be somebody who respects women in general as much as I do, but I can sit right here and say, I don't think there's somebody that I've ever met or I know of that respects women more than me. A lot of them respect them as much as me. Now, I don't mean coddle up to this. I'm talking about pure D.O. respect. I was a mama's boy. I saw her work out in those fields. Your mother, Autry, Verna, that generation, we're mama's boys. We love women. And most true, I feel, women don't want this craziness going on where you have to sit back and second guess whether you should open a door for a young lady. Whether you should be the leader of your home doesn't mean dictator. Your kids are looking at you. Your wife is looking at you to be the leader. That doesn't make you toxically masculine if you say, hey, I lost my job today, so we're really going to have to kind of cut down on the grocery bill, cut down on some purchases, and we're just going to have to do that. Well, you're going to be toxically masculine. Who gives you the right to? Of course, you talk that over with your wife. You come to a consensus, but you may have to make the choice to go take that job in Idaho or Texas or whatever when there's nothing here. You may have to lead the family. My dad led us 6 moves in 5 years. We didn't like anyone, but he had to. He led. There was no work where we were. And thank goodness he led. We didn't go long periods of time with being hungry because he made the difficult choice to move, to go where their work was. And my mom respected his leadership. Was he toxically
But she was a
masculine?
strong woman.
Yeah.
She was a strong woman.
And she helped. Yeah, exactly. And she did the balancing of the books.
The moms in those days were pretty tough.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
My dad couldn't read or write, but he is one of the wisest men I ever knew in my life in terms of common sense. I quote him and use him in my heart all the time. And Mom did her part, but she always deferred to him as being the leader of the home.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so thankful that he did because, I'm going to say it, Bobby. I'm going to say it.
Hey.
I'm going to get in trouble.
All right.
I'm going to be selling. You know what?
What?
That's the way it's supposed to be.
Well,
and men,
it worked for generations and generations and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years.
And men,
now all of a sudden it's upside down. Now it can't do that.
Right.
You can't be that way. I saw a debate the other day.
And men have a great responsibility to take that leadership and nurture it well and be fair, honestly, to family. Go ahead.
Yep. I saw a debate the other day, and I think it was Michael Knowles. He goes to these college campuses, and there are protests all over the place because he's considered a Nazi and hates the LGBTQ community and everything else. So he was he was answering a question from this young lady in the audience, and she said, "Well, stop. You're promoting toxic masculinity," just by his answer. And she said, "I'm feeling threatened right now."
Microaggressions.
Michael knows. I don't know if any of you folks listen to him or watch him.
Boy, they would love Jackie Gleason.
I'll show you microaggressions, Sal. Pow, zoom.
To the moon. Go ahead.
And
I was going to put the final nail in our casket.
We're done. Yeah. She would not listen to the rest of his answer because she felt threatened by his toxic masculinity, which was part of his answer that she'd asked the question for. It was pretty soon my head is spinning, and I said, I got to go outside and have a beer.
We just can't give in to this stuff.
It's craziness.
All right, we just got a few minutes left here.
Yeah.
And I promise I won't. I get accused of beating things in the ground. Bobby points it out, and I do. All right, I confess. I can just beat it down, keep going. Critical race theory. I can grind it down, smash it down, step on it again. I get that. I'm sorry. I get carried away. But this thing about the aliens in Las Vegas. The 10-foot tall green aliens. I promise this will be my last one. Somebody brings it up.
Did I miss this?
Oh, the 10-foot in Las Vegas. They called the cops. Said that there were 2 8 to 10 foot tall green aliens in their backyard, and the cops answered the call. And because the cops on their body cam, I guess, saw a green object go across the sky a little bit before the call. And he said, they're green. They're 8 to 10 foot tall, and they're in my backyard. They're looking at me, and they're definitely not human, all this stuff. Well, they go out, and they answer that call. They don't find any surprise 10-foot green aliens.
What?
They don't find any place where a spacecraft could have crashed.
Get me straight.
There was no sign of a green light leaving the scene of the crime in the backyard.
There's a street light out there.
Then they give so much credence to this report. Just the other day, I read the cops, the police, under taxpayer dollars. I know they got a lot of money in Vegas, but I don't think the taxpayers really appreciate it. The cops taking cameras out and installing cameras in the backyard for this guy. My point is, out of the total nonsense silliness, you've got a murder rate that's off the charts in Vegas, like pretty much every place else.
Pretty tough town.
You're actually going to answer that call? No, this is the one where you do need to send the police force psychologist, the social worker. If you want to answer that call, you don't send 2 uniformed crime fighters.
How did I miss this story?
Oh, Bob. It's
man.
And Guillermo's over
folks,
there. And Guillermo and people that I know. I think even Jeremy thinks a little bit what it could be. They could be there. And I'm going, oh, my gosh, 10-foot green monsters staring through the window and at them. And you answer that call when there's, rapes and murders and break-ins going on.
All the other stuff. And they're going to check out aliens.
You make the decision going to answer that. Here in Fresno. I don't wonder if they would have answered in Fresno. Probably.
I don't know. That's a good question. We actually have, I think, don't we still have some pretty good response time in Fresno?
How much time you get for a bogus 9/11 call? Probably not enough. That's
well,
not to be played. That's not to be played with.
So Huff,
911 is not to be played with.
The dispatcher got this call.
Yes.
And said,
they got the recording.
Yeah. It had to be hilarious.
It is.
I mean, there's what in your backyard?
Yeah, it's pretty much like that.
And she
And they're staring at
And they
me.
dispatched
And they're-
officers to this location.
Yes.
That's amazing.
And the officer said they were freaked out. He said they saw that green light. Now, here's guys you expect to go up against, people on PCP,
the bad of the bad.
the bad of the bad, gang members with AR-15s.
But
and
aliens, they were a little spooked.
aliens. Well, it just show how the hiring standards in the police departments have gone down. You get Don Knotts and Goober answering the call.
Barney with his one bullet.
Oh man, the more I think about that,
I never heard that story.
yeah.
In
And then
Vegas.
I take a stand, and it takes so many people off.
Why?
Well, I don't believe there's life on other planets.
Oh, okay.
We're alone.
Okay.
Just face that. We're alone. And by the way, we want to spend billions and hundreds of billions and trillions of dollars to go to planet nonsense that we discover, while we could, if we put just a quarter of that money into cancer research, the lives that could be saved, and we're going out seeing how far into the black hole we can send a spacecraft. For what? Use that money. There's so many good things. How about a gift to St. Jude's Hospital? How many young kids could be saved if you gave them $1 trillion?
Oh, my word.
And told these researchers, work around the clock on this type of cancer. How many children would be saved with that? It's so crazy, the emphasis we put on trying to find this, life on another planet. You find it, so what? Now what? You what do you do?
Well, we've always been pretty good at spending money.
I mean, if you're Russia, I guess you invade it. If they got nothing to do, that's probably why they want to go there. Chinese want to get the Communist Chinese Party want to see if they can get some people to make sneakers for 2 cents a pair instead of 20 cents a pair. They can get some of those aliens they can hold as a captive workforce. Maybe there's a reason there for them, but for us,
we kind of covered the gamut today.
Oh, we gamut it, didn't we?
We went from A to B and then all the way to Z.
No man would I rather run the gamut with than you, my friend.
Thank you.
Folks, thank you for tuning in. We'll get to more of your all here. We're going to start doing this more often here. I got the laptop in front of me. You can't see it, Facebook folks, but I got it here. Radio folks, we'll get you the email and we'll start interacting that way. I don't know. Today I do. But hey, I can't remember what I had for breakfast this morning, so I don't know if I'll remember how I did. But that's why we got Jeremy here. Love you, folks. God bless you. God bless America. Do your best. Let God do the rest. And we'll see you on Monday. Bye-bye now.